Good morning, and what to say today except that we're just joining you, Leslie.
And I'm Holly.
And
we're not Mimosas in the morning this morning.
Not
because
today.
We have a special guest, and it's Amber from the American Heart Association here in Tampa. So today we're talking about, liquids like coffee, water, other fluids. Everything is very healthy for you.
Yes. So
Thank you.
The reason we wanted
coming.
Amber here
Right.
today, absolutely.
Thank you for being here this
is
morning.
that it's Stroke Awareness Month. And that's something that the American Heart Association is very active in promoting to
bring awareness.
Yes, awareness to all of us, because it's, would you say, kind of one of those silent killers too? It's just one of those things that can get you and you just have no idea.
Yep, and people don't know about it. So, Amber, you know that it's May Stroke Heart Awareness Month. The mic is yours. We're turning it over. Give us everything that you know, what you want to our audience know, so that we can share this, because it's so important to know the signs and be aware. Be your own advocate, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So thanks so much for having me, ladies. Really happy to be here this morning. And you're right, May is Stroke Awareness Month. So it's something that we talk about all month long. And for a lot of people, they don't know why Stroke Awareness Month is so important to us at the Heart Association, because a stroke happens in your brain. So how is it all connected together? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And here at the Heart Association, we say that you can spot a stroke fast. It's our acronym, FAST. And this is the really easy way to remember the warning signs of a stroke. So if you were to see any of these happen, we're going to talk about what they look like and what you should do if it happens. So the F stands for face drooping. One side of the face will droop. It might be weak. It might be numb. Someone might say, oh, my face feels a little tingly. It feels a little bit numb. That's something to look out for. The A stands for arm weakness. So the easiest way to test this is to ask somebody if they're saying like, oh, my arm feels a little numb, or it doesn't feel quite right. Maybe they're not as coordinated as they would normally be. You can ask them to raise their arms, kind of like a zombie. And one of the arms isn't going to be able to match up to the other one. So that's a really good indicator as well. The S stands for speech difficulties. So this could come in a number of different ways. Their speech could be slurred. It could be totally not understandable at all. It could sound like gibberish, or they might not be able to speak at all. They might just have difficulty. And so one thing you can try to test out with them is ask them to say an easy sentence. Ask them to say, the sky is blue, or my name is such and such. And you'll be able to tell kind of if something's not quite making the connection there. And last but not least, the T stands for time to call 911. If you see any of these things, face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, you have to call 911, because it really could be the difference between a full recovery and a lifetime of long-term disability. And so we like to say around here that nobody ever dies of embarrassment. If you go to the hospital because you think something is wrong and they tell you have heartburn, that is the best case scenario. We want that. Because the worst thing you could do is say, oh, well, this is no big deal, it's not a problem, and not go because something really could be wrong. So really want to encourage you to sort of learn these signs. It's an easy acronym, and it could be the difference between somebody's life one day. You could be out at the supermarket, in your home, in your school, wherever you may be on base, and could see one of these happening. So really encourage you to sort of take this life-saving skill into your hand and commit it to memory.
And I think it's a big thing to mention too, that strokes even happen to teenagers, and a lot happen within sports. My son does football, and that's one of the things that we had to sign off on. He had to take a virtual class talking about signs of a stroke and all that, because especially us living here in Tampa, and the heat, being outside, it's not just because someone's unhealthy. And I think that's that's the case that most people, when they feel that embarrassment, so they don't want to go to the doctor because they think they did something. I have done something. There's something wrong that I have done, and I don't want anyone to know about it. And so then you're hurting yourself even more. And then with their teenagers, they don't understand any of these signs that you're talking about. Well, they just know they feel funny. Yeah, they're invincible. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I will ask you this too, Amber. So as we've talked about before, with heart attack, women have different symptoms, but we're looking at the same type of symptoms for men and women at this point. Is that correct with stroke?
Yes, for the most part, you're really going to see one of these three symptoms. These are most consistent with a certain type of stroke. There are two, and the second type of stroke, it's much less common, and people will describe this symptom as having the very worst headache that they've ever had. Take your worst migraine day and multiply it, and that's a symptom of that one. So a couple different things to look for, but they are going to manifest for the most part in one of those main three ways that we talked about.
And another thing to talk about, and you can probably bring this up a little bit because you have way more knowledge than I do. And we see this in our military community, is with our spouses who are pregnant. And they dismiss the pregnancy, saying those are pregnancy symptoms. And they're not pregnancy symptoms. And then they have a stroke during like childbirth.
Mm-hmm. I think for women, especially, we're just so used to taking care of everyone else, and we always put ourselves last. And so this is one of those instances. And really, when it comes to your health, you always want to keep that at the forefront. Pregnant, not pregnant, healthy, maybe could be healthier. Always want to keep that at the forefront of your mind. And really, one of the biggest things is knowing your family history, knowing your own history, because sometimes that can put you at an even greater risk, and really not overlooking anything, not minimizing anything. There is no such thing as saying, oh, well, it's no big deal. It's probably just this, or it's probably just that. You really can't be too careful with these things. So especially as a pregnant woman, you want to make sure that you're taking anything that doesn't feel quite right very seriously. Always listen to your body. That's the biggest thing. It's usually trying to tell you something.
Well, and then also, you know, I think isn't a big indicator is being aware what your blood pressure is.
That rolls into the blood pressure.
So,
yeah.
It's also Blood Pressure Awareness Month, right?
Mm-hmm. It is. May shares the month. It's Stroke Awareness Month, and it's also High Blood Pressure Awareness Month. And I know that this is something that is especially close to the military community this day and age. There's a lot of research coming out now about why this next generation of military members and veterans really have this high blood pressure. And some of the things that go into high blood pressure are what are you eating? Are you going to McDonald's, going through that drive-through? Or are you going home and cooking with some healthy vegetables? And are you getting enough exercise? And we're not talking, oh, hey, I walked from here to the fridge on that commercial break. Are you going out? Are you getting at least 150 minutes of exercise every week? Are you healthy in other ways? Do you know your risk factors? We talked about family history. Do you have a history of heart attack or stroke or anything like that? Or of even high blood pressure? High blood pressure is called the silent killer for a reason. Mm-hmm. It has no outward symptoms. There was no way for you to know just by walking by someone on the street if they have high blood pressure. That's why it's so important for you to know your numbers, what's important, what's normal for you, because it's a little different for everybody. What's high for me could be normal for you, and vice versa. And so if you don't know what your blood pressure numbers are, if you haven't taken your blood pressure recently, go by Publix, go your local grocery store, whatever it is, your local pharmacy, sit down, take your blood pressure, and really take a moment to think about what those numbers mean. The Heart Association says that normal blood pressure is 120 over 80. So if your numbers are maybe a little higher or significantly higher than that, definitely something you might want to have that conversation with your doctor and really take a look at your lifestyle, because that is the easiest way to combat high blood pressure, is make those lifestyle changes, eat better, exercise, cut back on the alcohol, and really take a look at some of those lifestyle changes.
Less mimosas.
Less mimosas. Unfortunately, it's not to say you can't partake, but
yeah, and I think your stress level,
yes.
That does not even include just our military. That's in general. I think that we're in a generation where it's so fast moving, and you're expected to have this or expected to that, and so you're putting more stressors on yourself.
Oh, listen, my family
Absolutely.
history is like riddled with all of this, so I have to be very aware, especially as I get older.
Yeah.
This is a good example. We talked about it. Leslie's skinny, Holly's not skinny. I'm a little fluffy. But I'm such a happy jujube, right? So my husband, he's this active, Marine and very, very physically fit, but his blood pressure is borderline always. And they always say, his doctor says, if I didn't know that your physical activity and who you were, looking at your numbers, I would be saying you're borderline. And Javier comes from a family of, heart attacks and other medical issues. Here, I got a good heart. I'm going. I'm tinkering around.
In so many ways. Yes, you do.
Right.
She is very, very physically fit. But stressors, yes.
Stressors. Oh my gosh, my stress is like up here, but that's all right.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And,
yeah. That's why I usually recommend to folks, if you take your blood pressure at home, take it in the morning before you have your cup of coffee and get that caffeine in you for the day when you're really kind of at your most relaxed and see what that number is. And then take it again at, say, lunchtime before you have your lunch and see what the differences are, because you would be amazed how your everyday routine activities can really impact your blood pressure, and know that, all right, maybe I'm a little too stressed out at work. Maybe I need to get myself a stress ball or go for a walk around the building, or do something to really kind of keep my stress levels in check during the day. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, that's something I do, just having like, you know, your smartwatch, your Fitbits, that kind of thing. You can keep an eye on your resting heart rate. So I kind of know, I can tell the difference at certain times of a day when my heart rate goes up, what some of the triggers of it. And I think that's been something that's been really beneficial for me.
So tell us too, what is going on? Like, because which I love the American Heart Association, you know, that is dear to me. And everywhere we have PCS is different. They're doing different things in the area. I love Tampa Bay's American Heart Association. I don't think I can say
they're so
that.
active.
I
mean,
know.
Like
You're always doing something. And I wish, you know, that we lived closer. Unfortunately, we come from being on the Marine Corps side, always being on installation, and then moving to Tampa. That's not geographically, it was an issue, and I was very sad. I'm blessed because Amber and my crew at Tampa Bay has blessed me, and they allow me to do little or a lot as that I can do, right? What I'm able and capable of doing. But tell me, what is Tampa Bay doing? Do you know what other areas are doing, or how people can get involved?
Absolutely. So definitely, if you're not in the Tampa Bay area and you're in another part of the country, highly recommend you reach out to your local AHA. There's always an opportunity to volunteer, to get involved, and to really be part of what we consider a year-round calendar of health and wellness here. Our main priority, of course, is heart disease and stroke and raising awareness, but we like to get involved in the community too. The health and wellness of the community is a big priority for the Heart Association. So one of the big things that we have coming up right now, which we're really excited about, is the Heart Walk. So it's our annual 5K that we do every year over at Raymond James Stadium. So that's going to be on November 9th this year. And although it seems like it's a long time away, for us, it'll be here before we know it. It really is something that takes us all year to get that day together, for everybody to come out, to celebrate our heart disease and stroke survivors, to really raise awareness. And we usually have about 35,000 people who come out and walk and really just kind of be part of the day, which is so exciting. So we've got that going on in a couple weeks. First week of June is actual National CPR Week. So we'll go out into the community and we'll teach folks hands-only CPR and really empower them to, just like with the fast signs, take action. If something were to happen, if somebody were to collapse of cardiac arrest while you're doing your grocery shopping, that you would feel empowered and you would feel knowledgeable enough to jump in and give that hands-only CPR until help were to arrive. So we've got that going on coming up in June. And really then it's just little things here and there throughout the community that we're involved in. We've got a lot of local partnerships here that are more than just heart disease and stroke. We're working on health equity, access to healthy food and care. We have our STEM Goes Red program that comes up in September. So we work with middle school girls in the community and really teach them about science, technology, engineering, and math, and why more women should be involved in those fields. So a whole year full of stuff, but really would encourage you to come out and be part of our big Heart Walk in November. Get a team together, get your family. It's pet friendly. Bring the dogs out, bring a whole group out, and really come walk with us and celebrate what we do.
And when people are moving from, like for us, from military duty station, or if you're moving in general, how do you get involved other places for American Heart Association? It's not just here.
Absolutely. Definitely. And I know that that is something that's so difficult. We've talked about it before, Holly, really having to go every couple of years to a new place. And I think that's what's great about being able to go out and volunteer. And I know that's why you're so passionate about it, is you really can go out and say, hey, I'm new here and I really just want to get involved and I want to try to make a difference. And we'll love the help. Anywhere you go, any American Heart Association location is going to love that you want to come out and volunteer and be part of it and really get involved in the community. And although we're a national organization, a lot of our offices are really quite small. We are doing a lot of big work with not a ton of people. So any extra help, we're always so grateful for. And we really wouldn't be able to do it without volunteers like you and Leslie coming out and helping us out at our luncheon, at our Heart Ball, at our Heart Walk, and really giving us that extra manpower. It's really important to us to keep our mission going.
That's good. I love this. I have to go back to that because I think that's really, really great. And how can, and again, we talk about geographically. So if you're not close by the chapter, your office and all that, the chapter office, how can our schools that are not that close get involved? I want to end on that note because I think that's so important, especially right now where our movement is going.
Absolutely. So one of the big things we have going on in schools right now is Kids Heart Challenge. So it's something where we really get the kids involved, get them active, get them exercising, talk to them about their heart, talk to them about heart health and healthy lifestyle in general, and then really raising funds. That's such a big part of what the American Heart Association does, is the funds that we raise go back to fund life-changing research that could be the next big break in heart disease and stroke. And so we really welcome folks to get involved in that way as well. Maybe you're not near a local chapter and you still want to feel like you are part of our mission and helping us advance what we're doing. And that's a great way to just be able to kind of make that connection and help us raise those critical funds that we really need to do all the things that we do.
And that means a lot to us. This past 10 weeks was very hard. You know about it. Our coworker lost her sweet girl, and not a lot of people know that because it was something that we could not talk about. But now Liz has told us that we could share. And so this year I will be fundraising again. I always do that, and personally, and sending money because it's so important for y'all to have the equipment and things that are needed so that we're not losing a life, and especially one of our babies.
For all ages.
For all ages.
Absolutely. Heart disease does not discriminate whether you're 4 or 40 or 84. It can happen to you. It has happened. We've seen it, unfortunately, one too many times. And so that's really why we all do what we do. It's for those faces in the community, the ones that are still with us and fighting, the ones that didn't make it, and really to celebrate them and raise awareness for them and let people know that it's not just your grandparents' disease. This could happen to anybody. It's the number one killer of all Americans.
Yep.
So
you share your why, you're saving a life.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Amber.
you so much.
You always have such wonderful information for us. And, we love the idea of partnering with you all, supporting your mission. And we're always here to do that whenever you need us to.
Yep. So,
well, thank you ladies so much for having me.
Yep. And remember that Military Home Base brings you home
one base at a time. And we'll see you all tomorrow on our normal time.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amber. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for allowing this interview.
Have a good day.
Thanks, ladies.